your day going? Welcome to the live show with Rideshare Professor. And today we are going to be speaking about a dear friend. His name is Harry Campbell. He's a person that I look up to. He was one of my first mentors, and I immediately went out and bought his book a while back. If you haven't got this book yet, it is literally the Bible of rideshare, right? So check him out. He's known as the Rideshare Guy. The book is called The Rideshare Guide. Get it on Amazon. And every year he brings out a survey. Yesterday he reached out to me and said, "Hey, Torsten, can you please talk about these results? They're pretty eye-opening." And I'm absolutely. So, we support each other. Anything for Harry. Got to talk about his excellent work. He's so thorough, right? He has an engineering background. I've had lunch with him in Beverly Hills. Love the way he thinks. And he's probably, I'm not going to say probably, he is the most respected rideshare blogger on the planet, period, right? So let's jump right in. Look who we have in the house. Tony Slaughter, William Connor, Gary Kubeta, Dewey Fisher, Joey Drive for You, Idaho, Ed Steigelmeier, Tim Odom, Big John, all of the legends, all the rideshare driver legends, right? So Lyft and Uber Driver Survey 2019, despite higher pay, drivers more unsatisfied than ever. That's the headline, right? We jump right in. Harry says, every year I send out an annual Lyft and Uber driver survey to our email list of 60,000 drivers and eagerly await the results. Now, by the way, after this video, I am going to post the link to his blog, so you can go straight there, check the graphs, check the information, and subscribe to him. He also has an amazing course online where you will learn a lot about the ins and outs of rideshare. So he says, even though I've talked to tens of thousands of drivers over the years via email, social media, phone, and in person, I know that feeling. It's always good to add some quantitative data to those conversations. And it seems like every year there are a few major findings that surprise me. This year was no different, right? So in 2019, we collected nearly 1,000 responses, right? So he's basing this on 1,000 responses. You can say that data is solid, folks. If you've actually taken the time to survey 1,000 drivers and you're then putting it into survey form, you have a legit survey going on. So I salute you, Harry. Great job. Who else? El Chapo's in the house. Mustafa's in the house. Kelly's in the house. Forrest MBC's in the house. Gary, how are you? So in 2019, like I said, we collected nearly 1,000 responses from drivers across the country and added a few new questions that we have never asked before. Obviously, this was a big year for both Uber and Lyft since the companies went public. But what effect did that have on drivers? Interestingly, Uber drivers actually reported higher earnings in 2019 than 2018, but driver satisfaction was down by 10%. We also asked drivers about their expenses for the first time this year and found that expenses knocked earnings down by around $6 per hour. That's a lot. That is a lot. Since employee status for drivers has been such a polarizing topic in 2019, we asked drivers how they felt about the situation, and 66% of drivers reported that they want to remain independent contractors. Very interesting. So let's go to Uber driver pay. It went up by 17%. This was the most surprising finding of my survey, since many drivers feel like they're actually getting paid less these days. But the numbers tell a different story. Even though Uber made several rate cuts, and did lots of rebalancing over the past year. Drivers reported current earnings of $19 and $73 per hour before expenses. Now let's look at that number. If you guys are honest to yourselves and say, okay, I'm going to look at my data, how many hours I drove last week, how many hours I did before, what did I earn, and you put that into a ratio, right? Earnings divided by hours gives average. Now here they're talking about $19.73 per hour across the board, right? All cities included, Vegas, Miami, LA, New York, New Jersey, Denver, you name it, right? Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, all the data in, average 19.73. How do you fare against those numbers, right? Are you above that? Or are you below that? Or does that sound pretty accurate? I'd also like feedback on that. So Harry says, I don't have a great explanation for why this number went up from 2018 to 2019, but we've actually seen drivers report increasing earnings over the past 3 years despite a number of rate cuts. There's the graph. That graph, by the way, when you Tava L'Oreal's in the house. I'm just giving a shout out to the people stepping in. Tommy's in the house. In the house. Let's sing it together. Our house, that is where we used to meet. Our house is a rideshare treat. Our house. You remember that song? Anyway, so check out that graph under the link that I'm going to provide. Here are a couple of thoughts why earnings may have gone up. Weekly bonuses, right? Who here loves the weekly bonuses? Even though rates have gone down over the past few years, I think weekly bonuses like Uber Quest have a huge impact on driver earnings, especially in the major cities. This allows Uber and Lyft to pay slightly more, but also exert much more control over drivers. I think that is a very, very accurate statement when you're talking about Uber Quest. I talk about that a lot, that these plans, or that they, these bonuses or incentives that they put out there, actually at the end of the day, give Uber and Lyft, of course, way more control over the driver, right? You're sort of like dangling a carrot. It's maybe an attractive carrot, but if you go that route, we can pretty much control you and see who's going for it and who not in what market. So that data must be huge for Uber. Running out of drivers, Uber and Lyft have a terrible retention rate, with 68% of drivers quitting after just 6 months. 68% of drivers quitting after just 6 months, right? Can you, and Harry, shout out to you, buddy. Thank you for this valuable data, because it also, to me, it goes sort of in line with a lot of my thinking about the rideshare industry. And you've just really confirmed this for me once again, that this retention rate, right? Their inability to keep a driver. And he's talking about 68% drop out after 6 months. Those numbers are astounding. No business. Can you imagine Apple or Google would operate, or Amazon would operate like it? So what that tells me is that your recruiting fees are through the roof getting in new drivers. You're spending getting in new drivers. You don't have the ability to keep them, right? And that, I think we have to really point a finger at the management, at the executive management. What are you guys doing up there that shows us clearly you're not able to keep your drivers, right? Driver unsatisfactory treatment. There's a lot going on in those first 6 months where you say, nah, you know what? Forget about it. I'm walking away from this. These guys truly don't care about me. If Uber or Lyft could put a $250,000 check on the table for Harry and another $250,000 for me, $500,000, I tell you, we have a game plan to bring that 68% down and keep the drivers longer. It's very, very simple. They just don't get it on the top there, right? That means that millions of drivers have now churned through the platform, and in a good economy, meaning Uber and Lyft, are having to pay drivers more in order to keep them around. Fewer drivers means more surge, more bonuses, right? What would really scare me, though, if I were Uber, is that driver pay may be increasing, yet the perception is that drivers are being paid less than ever and satisfaction is getting worse. Pay is still by far the most important thing to drivers. He nailed it. It truly is. Let me jump back into the room for a second. Uberman says, hello, Rideshare professional. You make great videos. Thank you, Uberman. I appreciate you. Beast of Texas, my buddy there. Texas in the house. How are you, buddy? Ray the mailman, part-time, 3 years now, average 900 a week. Ray. Good. So chime in, guys. Chime in. This is getting more and more interesting here. And, you know, there's only certain people that can put together blogs like this. And if you meet one-on-one with Harry and understand his engineering brain, his background, right? He is so methodic. He's so precise with everything that he does. And wouldn't you agree that just the layout of this blog, just breaking it down bit by bit, the questions that he asks, really speaks volumes about himself. There's the book in the back there. See it there? I'm mirroring it right there. Guys, get this. I want to just Rachel Holt, Uber VP and Regional General Manager of the United States and Canada. She's a heavy hitter. This is what she says about Harry's book, a valuable resource for folks who want to get even more out of their experience driving with Uber. And I'll read you many more. So, what would really scare me, though, if I were Uber, is that driver pay may be increasing, yet the perception is that drivers are being paid less than ever and satisfaction is getting worse. I'm repeating this line. Pay is still by far the most important thing to drivers, right? What is the most important thing to you as a driver? Okay, and now we have a beautiful little pie, lays it all out. I want you to go later to this link afterwards. Obviously, a 52.9% talk about pay. Other factors that are brought up are company culture, which I personally think sucks. Me, what I think about their company culture, it sucks. It's just my feedback, right? Flexibility is good, I think. 36.7% say that's a big factor. I would agree with that. Benefits, health insurance, that part sucks. Some people say I don't care about any of the above or any of these points, small percentage. Safety, I still find safety too low in that graph, which is reflected in a light blue turquoisey color. Go through that graph, folks. Gross earnings are just one part of the equation, though. And this year, we also asked drivers what they were earning after expenses. And after expenses, Uber drivers reported earning $13.47 per hour. You know, that's that $19 less the $6 that they say, giving an average of $13.47 an hour, which means that on average, drivers report that their car is costing them over $6 per hour to operate. On my side, with a 6.2 liter Cadillac Escalade, I can tell you that's way, way higher. That's a lot of money. And as we've shown, a quality used Prius will only cost 20 to 30 cents per mile to operate. So it's more important than ever to drive an efficient vehicle. Very good point. One of the reasons why I recommend flexible vehicle rental options, and he has a link to that, like Fair, you can click through to that, to full-time drivers these days, is because you know exactly what your costs are up front. If you drive 50 hours and pay $200 for a weekly rental and spend $100 on gas, that means your car is costing you exactly per hour, right? $300 divided by 50. So you can see how renting a car makes a lot of sense for certain full-time drivers. If you are into this, I mean, hardcore, big hours per week, I would understand that you would go the rental route, right? But I'm just talking mega big hours, at least 10 to 12 hours per day. That to me, again, is no life. But let's say you're a youngster, you're saving up for studies, or you're saving up for your first apartment, or you're saving up for a car, and you go in and say, listen, I'm not going to spend the money on the car. I'm going to get the car through a fair program, and I'm going to hit it hard for 2 years, right? I'm going to dedicate myself to 2 years and save up as much money as I can. I'm a youngster. I'm ambitious. I'm a go-getter type of person. I'm willing to grind 70 hours per week. Sure, a rental might be the way to go. Let's see who else has stepped into the house. Roberto, 45. Jesus Gonzalez. The one and only Jesus Gonzalez. William Connor. Ben Gardner, how are you? Chris Blanks, how are you? Quest 360. He says, pay and safety. We're going to get there. Pay is a big one. I'm big on safety, right? To me, my safety, your safety, that you guys can be there for your family, for your children is worth more than any dollar amount in the world, right? Let's be honest. That taxi driver that was stabbed downtown LA the day before yesterday, you can't put a price tag on that, right? Like, can we get his life back? No, because of failure and breakdown in the rideshare industry regarding safety and security. Rideshare Paula. Whoop, whoop. Hey, girl.
Hey, Tarzan, how are you?
I'm good. You're live, dear. I'm in a live show, so you're live in a stream. Do you want to say hello to the?
I'm sorry. I know I'm trying. Oh no.
Yeah, you wanted to be. She wanted to be part. She wanted to be on the live show, right, Paula?
Oh no. I just got a notification. That's not right.
The what? Who's on vacation?
I never got a notification. A notification.
Oh, notification. Okay.
Yes, YouTube sometimes sends you, that's why
True.
You've always got to tell your subscribers to make sure you tickle the professor's bell.
Exactly. Listen to her. You got to.
Notification.
Dustin does that very well. He says, click that little bell. So guys, please click that little bell on all my videos. Thank you. Thank you, Rideshare Paula.
Go over my channel and hit the subscribe button and also like that it thumbs up and subscribe to the Rideshare Professor too.
Thank you, sweetie. Hey, come into this live feed, and then you guys, if you haven't subscribed to her, go to her link. And vice versa. We're all there to support and help each other. I love the fact that she just called me out of the blue. I thought you wanted to jump into the live feed.
I know. It's funny because I just sent you a text, and also Mr. Pearson too, right, Mr. Pearson, because tomorrow at 11:30 at the Lyft hub, the mobile workers line protesters are going to be down there helping this guy who was made homeless because of Lyft. He had his car repossessed.
Oh wow, that would be a good place to show up and show some love and support.
Yeah, he's going to pitch a tent, and so am I. I'm made homeless too, then. So I'm going to pitch a tent there and probably do live. I was hoping you'd come down and.
Cool. Can you?
I sent you a text.
Oh, you did. Okay, I'm going to try and make it down there. Absolutely, I'd love to see. I'd love to see you down there.
Bring the ice cream truck.
Cool. Oh, you want me to come in the ice cream truck? Okay. Interesting.
The more noise we make, the better. So
Perfect.
Any of your subscribers too, guys, you come down to the Lyft hub at 11:30 a.m.
You heard her. You heard her, folks.
I'm getting hold of Dave and everybody too, rounding you guys all up, okay?
And Beast of Texas says, I like Rideshare Paula. She's an angel. She truly is an angel. Have you ever met her personally, face to face? She is energy. So I love that friendship. I love that she checks in once in a while. And hey, we're going to jump back into this feed. Come in there and say hello, okay?
Yes, we're going to check out you guys. See you in the feed. Take care, Professor. See you tomorrow then, guys. Bye.
Bye. See that bubbly, wonderful character she is? I thought she wanted to be part of the live show. So I thought, okay, bring her in. She had no idea she was live on stage with us. So let's go back to this $6, what they report on average. That's a lot of money. And as we've shown, a quality used Prius will only cost 20 to 30 cents per mile to operate. So it's more important than ever to drive an efficient vehicle, right? If you drive 50 hours and pay $200 for a weekly rental and spend $100 on gas, wow, I wish I had a weekly 100. I sometimes spend $100 on gas a day. That means your car is costing you exactly $6 per hour, $300 divided by 50, yes. So you can see how renting a car makes a lot of sense for certain full-time drivers. Uber driver earnings versus Lyft driver earnings. What do you predict, folks? Uber driver earnings versus Lyft driver earnings. In 2019, Lyft drivers reported earning $17.49 per hour before expenses, which was $2.24 per hour less than Uber drivers. Drivers who reported equal driving for both Uber and Lyft were at $18.50 per hour, which tells me that only driving for Lyft may not be such a good idea anymore. Okay, listen to that. And why he says that, if you are only with Uber or Lyft and you haven't signed up for the other one, go below, sign up with Team Torsten and Michael. If you need a car, I have great leases, Priuses and SUVs. And if it doesn't matter where you're in the country, whether you're in Texas or Florida, if you want to get an idea what you can get on pay for a car in your state, I have access to all of the auctions nationwide. And sometimes Michael and I buy cars from Florida and ship them in, or buy cars from Houston, Texas and ship them in, right? So you got to know how to buy, folks. So then I'm just throwing that in as a side note. The number of satisfied drivers, Uber only 47.8, Lyft only 52.4, Uber and Lyft 44.5. The market share, Uber is 54.28, Lyft only 21.22, Uber and Lyft together 24.5. Average rating on Uber 4.92, on Lyft 4.98, Uber and Lyft combined, if they drive both, 4.95 average. Average lifetime trips with Uber, this data that shows 4,100 trips, average lifetime trips, that's pretty high. Lyft only 3,291, Uber and Lyft combined 4,479. Earnings per hour before expenses, Uber $19.73, Lyft only $17.49, Uber and Lyft combined $18.15. Earnings per hour after expenses, after you deduct all those expenses out, Uber only $13.47, Lyft only $11.55, Uber and Lyft combined $12.66. Uber driver satisfaction takes a big hit, right? There's Uber girl Paula. She's got the little hearts. Go subscribe to her. That was the lady that I was on the phone with a few minutes ago. In 2019, and we're talking Uber driver satisfaction, Harry says it takes a big hit. Why? In 2019, just 47.8% of drivers said they were satisfied with their experience driving for Uber, a 10.4% drop compared to 2018. What's most worrying about this drop, CEO Dara, Logan Green, listen up. Maybe you could learn something. Tune in, listen up. What's most worrying about this drop is that Uber had a lot of momentum with drivers in 2018. If you recall, this is when they launched their 180 Days of Change campaign, brought in a new CEO, and seemed headed in the right direction. But in 2019, they took a big step back and it seems like drivers are no longer a big focus at the company. Let's stop there for a second. Harry says, seems like drivers are no longer a big focus at the company. Can you recall that one statement by Tony West, right? This plays into that 10.4%. When certain people on the top use certain words about the people that make them the money, right? When you diss us, when you piss us off, when you spit at us, when you treat us in that fashion, obviously, right, our satisfaction, are we satisfied with Uber and Lyft? No, it's gone down. And this is heavily documented and reported in my videos in the last year, that they need to raise the bar, right? And again, Uber and Lyft, if you're listening in, pay Harry $250,000, pay Rideshare Professor $250,000, and we will bring your satisfaction rates back up. In fact, the people in the house, if you read their contributions, right? Roy Watkiss, how are you? T. Gull, safety. Thank you, my friend. That's the language I understand. If you listen to these individuals, you could already bring the satisfaction up by just chiming in and listen to what real drivers on the street from all corners of the US, all countries abroad are reporting, right? This is where these fools could learn the most, from the people that actually do the driving, right? But now they want to experiment with this, and they want to do this, and they want to change this little thing on the app and spend another $1 million over here and another $200,000 on balloons. Wake up, Derek Kay. Wake up, Logan Green. Smell the freaking coffee. Come into our house, have breakfast with us, have a coffee with us or a tea. I'll serve the scones. I'll serve pancakes. I'll serve crepes. Just come and sit with us and learn from us and understand why we are so unsatisfied. So this graph speaks volumes. Again, if you follow the link later on, you'll see the graph. Even though the numbers show that drivers are earning more, the thing drivers care most about, driver satisfaction, actually went down. When you couple this with the driver strikes we saw in 2019 and the organizing efforts around AB5, drivers or the lack of drivers could be a big risk for the company in 2020. Hits the nail on the head, right? You will have major problems in 2020 if you continue driving your freight train down this track, right? You are going to hit a brick wall, Mr. CEO, if you carry on with this policy, if you carry on with this direction, if you carry on with this treatment. Don't wake up one day in 2020 and say, oh, we should have paid more attention to satisfaction. Oh, we should have paid more attention to this. Here's your golden effing opportunity. Step up, take it, and, live up to your title. If you are the chief executive officer, act like one, please. Uber and Lyft drivers want to be independent contractors. 100% correct. Even though AB5 in California has gotten a ton of media attention, political support, and retweets on Twitter, most drivers want to be independent contractors. In our 2019 survey, 66% of drivers said they wanted to be independent contractors versus 15.8% who wanted to be an employee. What I'm looking for is something in the middle. I don't want to be an employee. I want to have independent contractors' rights, better pay, better protections, and a better voice. So in my eyes, they should write a new law, the gig worker law, which looks at independent status, which they're clearly not treating us as independent contractors. They're not. They're saying it, but they're not, right? And then the rights that employees have. You got to come into the middle and come up with a new gig worker law. Things change, times change. You got to adapt, right? So the hotel industry going in direction Airbnb, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't adapt, you die. So what I'm calling for, just going to this point, to these percentages, is come up with a whole new set of rules, right? You want the flexibility to choose a company. You want the flexibility of your hours. You want to be treated as an independent contractor, but you also want to enjoy certain employee benefits, right? Meet us in the middle. And I'm addressing this to politicians and to the companies. Meet us in the middle and let's rewrite a new gig worker law together. This number lines up with my anecdotal conversations and also makes a lot of sense when you think about the fact that most drivers are doing this part-time, so they often value the flexibility more than the pay. Turning drivers into employees could adversely impact older drivers. 43% of drivers we surveyed are older than 61, and a full 10% are over 71 years old. If Uber, and by the way, let's not be shy. Let's just put our age right now, put your age in there so I can work out an average age of the house. I'm going to start with myself there. I come in at a whopping 51 years old. Boom! There it is. I released my numbers, right? Over half a century old rideshare professor. Got Mark Roughton coming in at 61. Got Journey with Jordan, 28. Benslick at 46. Robert Garrison at 60. Quest 360 at 42. Tris Moore at 48. BRT at 45. You see, now we're getting really good data, and I appreciate for sharing that. Thank you. Absolute Rideshare is coming at a sweet 30 there, a sweet spot 30. Rideshare 411 coming in at 47, right? And I'm going to go back to this video later on and then work out what is the average age of the driver in our house. So RM Zayas comes in at 52, beats me by 1. Forrest and NBC Gaming comes in at 34. Adam Ginsberg comes in at 52. Roy Watkins comes in at 60. Ronald Reinhardt comes in at 49. Speed Racer comes in at 39. Robert Garrison won't reveal his age. He just says we're all old. Benzlik says 5 years, 16,000 rides. That doesn't speak for your age, though. No, you're not 5 years old. I want your age. But I think you gave me your age. You're 46. Yes, Benzlik is 46. Noza Benji, 34. Mike Axon, 50. Orlando Harvey, 33. Rick Ruby, 47. Somebody says he's damn old. Robert Garrison is 60. Orem Zayas has still got a ton of power for his age. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing. That goes hand in hand with these numbers. If Uber and Lyft drivers are required to drive certain shifts, it could hurt older drivers who need flexibility. Older drivers often are supplementing their retirement nest egg, and some can only drive when they feel comfortable, such as during daylight hours. Makes perfect sense. 83.5% of drivers were surveyed work for more than one service. In other industries, employees are sometimes forbidden to concurrently work for a competitor. Imagine if Uber enacted such a rule to its drivers who are now classified as employees. It could damage Lyft's ability or other gig companies to attract drivers while simultaneously limiting income opportunities for gig workers. It could also make it difficult for new companies to enter the market and compete. You can see in the chart below that Uber has 50.8% market share amongst all gig companies, and 23% of drivers do both Uber and Lyft. So if those dual app drivers had to choose one or the other, Uber's total market share could go as high as 73.8% in this scenario, right? Some of the chart that he put there, please go and look at it afterwards. I'm going to leave the link after the live feed. He breaks it down: Uber, Lyft, Uber and Lyft equally, Postmates, Door, Dash, Uber Eats, Juno. We can take Juno off the list. And while we're on Juno, shame on the founder of Juno, shame on the president of Uber, shame on the CEO of Uber, shame on the managers of Uber who lied to me on the phone time and time again, misleading drivers. They dropped the bombshell yesterday and deactivated all those drivers. They are absolutely effing cowards. That's who you are, right? And come on the phone if you think you're not a coward. Get on the phone with us right now. But to Juno, you suck. You suck, right? And then taking all of our data selling it to Jet for 200 million. And now Jet is doing a backdoor deal with Lyft, right? 360 bullshit right there. It smells rotten. So Juno, you suck. And for getting on the phone and misleading, people like myself that are a voice for drivers, then take your word to the rideshare community, him lying in my face. Are we opening in 2 markets? 2 months, we're opening this market. No. Big bullshit story. They wanted to collect data for as long as possible, suck and extract as much as they could, like ticks that suck blood, right? And then sell it to Jet. So shame on all of you. You have zero integrity. You are the bottom of the trash barrel, right? The people who founded Juno and the people who run Juno, the way you treated drivers is an example of how not to do it. Enough said. No more energy for Juno. And I've been pretty vocal over the years, right? And everything that I've said culminates today and is true. They are duds. Done. And I wouldn't go and show my face in the community. I wouldn't go around and say, oh, I'm the former Juno. No, because you might run into a driver like me that'll knock you out, buddy. I really would. If I saw one of those guys, I would say, shame on you for lying and misleading, cheating, stealing. You're a fraud. And then you get the nice uppercut. One shot, lights out, right? So shame on Juno. I think I've made myself clear. How can cities help Uber and Lyft drivers? Even though there's a lot of debate on the independent contractor versus employee issues right now, there are certain things that all drivers care about and that cities and states should look to address right now. For the first time, with the help of our friend Warren Logan. Thank you, Warren Logan. I hope you're not affiliated with Logan Green. Just a little joke there. Formerly of the SFMTA, this year we asked drivers what cities could do to help Uber and Lyft drivers, and the top responses were, here it is, 55% of drivers said enact higher pay rates. 36% of drivers said cap on the number of rideshare drivers. 33% said more bathrooms. What's interesting to me is that most drivers want higher pay, but the mechanisms that achieves it really matters. If it's higher pay via employee status, that won't work for a majority of drivers. But if it's higher pay through minimum wage guarantees, like we've seen in New York City, that's a different story. And while it may take a lot more political will to pass minimum pay legislation, but not as much as it used to take, more bathrooms is something that cities definitely have the power to help with today, right? So get crack-a-lackin'. Melissa, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the good info. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much, right? So to the cities out there listening, build more bathrooms, right? Drivers need to take breaks. When we need to piss or pee, we need to go. We shouldn't be driving around scouting and looking for bathrooms. There should be one within a half a mile radius. So spend some money and build some flushes, right? Uber and Lyft need to do a lot more for driver safety. Hallelujah. Here we are, my topic, right? Briefly want to go back into the house. Payman Ali comes in at a sweet 50 years old. Muhammad Khalil, 52 years old. Robert Garrison says he does both. EBZ Roach God says, I'm pumped to be an employee. It's going to mean I'm going to be able to go online and people way far away that drive to busy areas won't be able to. I live here where it's busy. Thank you for sharing. Uber Girl Paula comes in at 50. Girl, whatever you're doing, give me some of that because she looks 38. She looks good. Timothy Newell, I'm from Philadelphia. Salute you, Philly. Regular bathrooms at the bum lot. My girlfriend just texted me and said she was going to get me this car for Christmas. Crazy. No, don't need it. Porta potties in Las Vegas. TNC are disgusting. Paul Figueroa San Diego, 55 years and all. And listen, the guy looks 42. Whatever you guys are doing, man, you must be eating something that I don't have access to. 55 years old, the guy looks 42. Salute you. Alamo City Dan comes in at 41. Okay, back to what I call probably the most important topic, safety. Uber and Lyft need to do a lot more about driver safety. Most stories in the media about rideshare safety revolve around drivers behaving badly. But as any driver will tell you, rideshare driving can be a lot scarier than being a rideshare passenger. Try picking up a passenger in a dark alley at 2 a.m. on a Saturday night when all the app tells you is a fake first name and there's no picture of the passenger. Very, very well said at this point. I take a sip of my coffee. In this area, Uber and Lyft were equally bad, with 53% of Uber drivers saying that the company needs to do more for driver safety and 54% of Lyft drivers saying the same thing. I truly thought those numbers would be higher, but okay. So it's no wonder that 22% of drivers reported carrying some type of weapon while driving. And that number should also be higher, right? Go out, folks, buy yourself some mace, right? They're tiny little mace guns, whatever you need to do to protect yourself. Go out and get yourself, if your state allows it, get yourself a dash cam. This 22% figure bothers me, right? At least 80% should be doing something to protect themselves, right? So that to me says there's a big, big opportunity to go and spend a little bit of money to take care of yourselves. Are you trying to tell me that you don't care about yourself and that only 22% of the drivers do care about themselves and do something, right? Again, at this point, if we could chime in, you know, I've gone out and I've bought something, right? Safety related, right? And I'm sure that the people in this house, and I'm taking a wild guess here, that the majority of you have gone out and spent some type of money. For example, myself, I have a baton, I have a mace, a police issued mace, and I have my dash cam. That's the money I spent on a minimum to keep myself safe, right? So do share with us that I don't want any dollar amount that you've spent, but hey, I spend money on my safety. That's all we need to know. Only 18.8% of drivers are female. Lack of sufficient safety measures could be a contributing factor. I would guess that's a very, very accurate statement right there. Why under 20% of drivers are female, right? That is just, if you want to get those figures up, Derek K. Logan Green, listen up. You could learn something here. If you want to get more drivers involved, show them you care about their safety. Spend some money on app technology. Spend some money on brainstorming. You can do way, way better. And by doing better, by spending the money on us, right, you would get more female drivers in. Now, this is a little bit off record here. It's going to be in my video tonight, right? It again goes to security. Does anybody know what Dara Khosrawi, whatever his name is, spends on his own safety and protection per year, right? His own, through Uber. Does anybody know? Can give me a figure. Anybody guess? My friends, this is what Dara K, I'm making a video tonight based on evidence, and this is what Dara K spends on his own security. He gets a $42 million paycheck. He gives himself another $2 million bonus for doing well, right? And then he's spending $2 million on himself for security. That's more than Tim Cook from Apple. That's more than Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos from Amazon spends 1.6 million. I know these numbers because I just made the video. $1.6 million on his security. Larry Ellison, Oracle, spends 1.6 million. Why do you think? And you're going to watch this video tonight, right? I'm just going to say I'll release it at 8 p.m., right? I'll do a scheduled release, right? Why do you think Facebook, and Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg spends 20 million on his own personal security, full-time bodyguards, etc., etc. Why do you think Derek Kay has one of the highest safety and protection fees attached to his name per year? It's because people freaking hate him. That's why, right? So way, way more than many of the people that make way more money than he does, right? I mean, Derek Kay, in comparison to Jeff Bezos, is small potatoes, right? And Jeff Bezos spends 1.6 on his safety. Derek Kay spends 2 million on his safety. That should tell you so much, right? Right? And I'm going to show the video tonight. You will see the breakdown of all these people, what they spend on safety. And here's the interesting thing, is that a guy like Derek Kay can spend $2 million on his own safety and protection, right? But guess who he doesn't care for? The drivers that made him that money, right? And that's shameful. That's when a CEO should step down. That basically says, me over you, and you're not even driving, Derek Kay. You're not even in the seat, right? You're sitting there making crazy, idiotic decisions, and people start building up hate and anger and resentment towards you. And you got to spend more and more and more on your security because people hate your ass, right? So I'm just putting that out there. Very interesting. There is no camera to record the passenger unless the driver installs one at their own expense. Very true. And no safety glass between the passenger seat and the driver's seat like you'll find in a New York City taxi cabs, right? So those are two things not supplied by Uber and Lyft, safety glass or a dash cam. You know, we got to dig into our own pockets, and I'm begging you to dig into your own pockets this Christmas. Or if anybody says, hey, what do you want for Christmas? Get me some mace, get me a baton, and get me a dash cam. What? Those are not Christmas presents. Yeah. But my safety for you, for my family in 2020 is way, way, way more important than all the money in the world. So if you want a Christmas present, write a nice letter to Santa. Dear Santa, this Christmas on my wish list, I want a Vava dash cam or an N2 Pro dash cam or a Next Base dash cam or a whatever dash cam. I would also, if you can fit it into your budget, dear Santa, I would like a baton, a rubber baton, preferably not a metal baton. If you can, Amazon has a great deal on mace. Dear Santa, please deliver this Christmas, right? So that's not much to ask Santa. I'm sure Santa will deliver. You ask your loved one, you ask your wife, you ask your fiance, you ask your kids to get you that for Christmas. It will make me happy. It'll bring up that percentage, right? 22% of drivers only reports spending something. Thank you, Harry, for these numbers, because we really need to highlight these numbers so that people wake up. You're worth more than 22%. Come on, man. Where's the other 78%? You're not telling me you don't care about your safety? Christmas list, on your Christmas list. No freaking excuses. New Year's resolution, I will spend some money on my safety. I will buy a dash cam. I will buy a baton. I will buy some mace. Please, folks, you're worth more than that. Don't save in the wrong places, right? This annoys me that only 22% of drivers actually care a shit about their safety and will go out and buy something. And Harry, thank you. Thank you for shining the light on that one, right? There. Thank you for shining the light on that one, on this issue. This is a big wake-up call, my friends, to every driver. If you fall into that 78%, no more excuses next year, right? You have Christmas and you have New Year's resolution. Do something. Like Nike says, just do it. Rideshare Professor says no more. That's it. Just do it. Now. So they say there is no camera to record the passenger unless the driver installs one at their own expense, and no safety glass between the passenger seat and the driver's seat like you'll find in New York City cabs. As a driver, you are also not encouraged to cancel rides for your own safety or for any reason. It will hurt your driver rating. For instance, a female driver cannot filter for only female passengers, which they should allow that option. They should, right? Or filter out young males. On the other hand, filters could lead to discrimination against certain passenger demographics. I also understand that. 3 interesting stats, right? And Harry says, feel free to read our full report on this year's survey results, but 3 other questions I wanted to highlight can be found below. Political affiliation. With election season looming, Uber and Lyft drivers could become an interesting discussion in the political landscape with the W-2 versus employee debate. And more, I was surprised to see that drivers are pretty split among political affiliations, though. I don't quite understand why this is important in the survey, but look, interesting point. It seems fairly balanced between Democrat and Republicans, 25.4% Democrats, 26.3% Republicans, right? No difference at all there really. More independents, 29.7%. People that say I prefer not to say, 11.1%. Then you have libertarians, etc., constitutionalists. If that interests you, sure. Thank you for throwing that in. But do I think that's truly relevant to the survey? I don't think so, but okay. Rideshare insurance. Despite there being numerous rideshare insurance options, nearly 40% of drivers still don't have rideshare insurance. Wow. A big reason for this, in my mind, is because most drivers don't know it's required or the cost is prohibitive. It's only one of the two, right? That's again, a very, very accurate statement that Harry makes. Uber and Lyft allow drivers to sign up to be a driver with personal insurance, but you really need rideshare insurance in order to make sure you're protected. This shifting of risk and liability can hurt drivers big time if or when they get into an accident during period 0 or 1. Question was raised, have you purchased rideshare insurance? A whopping 54.9% say yes, a 39.3% say no. Smaller percentage says I don't know, and another small percentage says I prefer not to say. Go check out the graph. Autonomous vehicles, 1 equals not worried at all, 5 equals extremely worried, right? The majority of drivers are not worried about autonomous vehicles at all, despite the hype in the media and further in the investment community. Drivers may not be experts in self-driving technology, but they do know about all the on-the-ground and manual work it takes at times to find a passenger, put up with their shenanigans, and of course, clean up their puke. Automation may be able to solve all of these problems, but will definitely take some time, and no one is thinking about it in this context. How worried are you about autonomous vehicles replacing rideshare drivers? We asked 81 questions in total in our 2019 Lyft and Uber driver survey. So if you're a member of the media and would like to review the full list for a potential story, please reach out to me. That's cool. There you have it, the 2019 Lyft and Uber driver survey results. What stood out to you, and what do you think about the increase in driver pay but decrease in driver satisfaction? What do you think about that? Right? Please chime in. Congratulations to our winners of the following prizes. A couple of people that won prizes there. Then here's previous year's surveys. There's a little bit about Harry. Hi, I'm Harry, the owner and founder of the Rideshare Guy blog and podcast. I used to be a full-time engineer, but now I'm a rideshare blogger. I write about my experience driving for Uber and Lyft and other services, and my goal is to help drivers earn more money by working smarter, not harder. Those are my precise lines. And if you haven't bought his book yet, it's called The Rideshare Guide, worth every penny. I think in blogs, usually people can leave some comments at the bottom. Let's just see. There's one message left here. It says, I read the survey twice by clicking on the link above. Couple of things that stuck out to me besides the earnings increase. Out of the 1,000 respondents, close to 80% were in the 50 to 70 age group. And PT versus FT breakdown, part-time versus full-time breakdown, is definitely not what Uber and Lyft suggests in their fight against AB5. Do you have a breakdown of the increase in earnings by city? It would be interesting to see which cities experienced the largest increase in driver pay over the year. That's a cool one. I'd like to see that as well. And he has the data. Maybe Harry can follow up with that data. I don't have a great explanation for why this number went up from 2018 to 2019, but we've actually seen drivers report increasing earnings over the past 3 years, despite a number of rate cuts. Maybe they're all learning how to work smart, not hard, right? And my slogan from day one was work smart, not hard. Work smart, not hard. And what my channel is all about, if you want that conversation, hey, I get them every day, right? I'm in this situation. What can I do to get out of this rut and earn more, right? So some adjustments, some smart adjustments, right? Instead of grinding the hours, a couple of smart adjustments can make you more money. Let's have that conversation. So great survey. He wanted me to share this with you. Sent me an email yesterday. There it is. Hey, Torsten, hope all is well. This is from Harry. I just want to give you a heads up, blah, 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 blah. Please do a video. You got it, buddy. I just did it for you. So, back into the room. Ubergirl Paula says safety first, for sure. Even as a passenger, woman must be safe getting home too. Correct. Forrest MBSC says, if they want us to carry the insurance, then they should rise our cut to 50-50. Very good point. Robert Garrison asks, where are the increases in pay at? Right? We touched on them early on. Quest, etc. So go back to that part of the video. Again, I'm going to put the link. We're coming up to the 1 hour mark. I don't want to go too long. Feel free to click through there. Feel free to subscribe to his channel, the Rideshare Guy, also on YouTube. Great content. Any other things we haven't covered that we need to talk about, folks? I want to wind it down here. Again, say a big thank you to Harry for sharing this data with us. Driver, what sticks out to me, driver satisfaction, driver safety, and pay. I find it a little hard to believe that pay went up. But okay, but they based this on hardcore data, right? 1,000 drivers. I've been hearing a lot of unsatisfaction, upset, and anger over the pay. So that I found, I've got to say, I found it quite astounding that the survey said the pay went up. No surprise at all to me is that the satisfaction with the company went down. And even less surprising is how people talk and feel about the safety. And very surprising to me very surprising. And this is where I urge every one of you this Christmas, this month, this today, is that only 22% of drivers went out and spent some money on their own safety, right? So whether you go out and order mace or a baton in case you need to wallop someone, or a knuckle duster like I have, or a dash cam, just please spend some money on yourself, and let's bring those statistics down, right? If you suddenly get walloped and you could manage to reach over and just unload pepper spray in that car, right? There's all this pepper spray in there, and you just get the heck out, and he's stuck in this toxic environment, you know, eyes are, and if you spray, you can close your eyes and just spray backwards. Just spray. Now I know where's the door. Here it is. And out I am, right? So I protected my eyes. I'm not getting it into my eyes. And he's stuck, or he or she is stuck in this environment, in this cage just filled with tear gas, right? So close your eyes. The guy bangs you from the side, or so if you can get to that tear gas, unload, close your eyes, get out. Don't be a sitting duck. Get out. Call for help. Have a whistle, right? Wish I had my keys on me, but I have a whistle. Super high pitched, right? It's loud. Get someone else's attention. Shout out for help. Dial 911. Everything that you have to do to shut that asshole down, right? You come first. So to me, I get it. Pay is a big one. But safety, 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 folks. So Mark Fowdy says 1,000 drivers is not a very strong sample size. I would say 1,000 drivers is a very, very, if you told me that you'd sampled 100 drivers, questionable. But 1,000 drivers is a pretty high number. And if you say it's not a very strong sample size, what do you believe is a strong sample size, Mark Fowdy? How do you feel about that? How does the House feel about 1,000 drivers? I think he did a thorough job in interviewing and getting that data from 1,000 drivers. That to me is extremely impressive. 500 would be impressive, right? So your take on that, please. Is it enough? Should there be more? Do you think it's sufficient to give good data? I think it's more than sufficient. David V says, don't do pool, especially in the ghetto. That will keep you safe. Boycott pool. I say it in every video. Don't accept pool. Screw him. Not worth it. Victor Braverman. Ripple safety button is a great life sat. Thank you for sharing. Save or saver. I think you try to say saver, right? It's a very good point. Forrest MBSC Gaming Noob says, run a few polls over the week and get all the other Uber channels and their subs, and let's get our own and let's compare. I like that. I really like that. So we should go out. What you're saying is those same questions should be, I'm in for that. I am truly in for that. Let me write that down. I think that is a brilliant idea, and I will put that challenge out to the Dustins, to the Revolutions, to the Apptrepreneurs, is that Harry set the bar, right, is the top notch, but I like the fact that we should conduct our own survey, right, regarding these talking points. So maybe what I should do is a series of videos, one about satisfaction, one about safety, one about pay, one about age, one about blah, 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 right? And then we just accumulate that data, pool that data from all YouTubers, and cross-reference all that data to Harry's data. I like that idea. I appreciate you for coming up with that brilliant, smart idea. Tim Olsen says, I had a pool Monday. They were all minors at a high school, always decline. Quest 360 says 1,000 is a good sample size, but I would love to get the same sample size in each major city. Good point. Robert Garron says, count me in the survey, say the word. You see, that's the attitude you love as a YouTuber, to have such a willing, participating audience makes my life easy, and nothing but gratitude. Nothing but gratitude to the house, just for that energy you bring, just for the willingness to participate, just for the willingness to share. It makes my life easy, really. And then by people having that attitude as Robert does, and they all do. I know that our house, all of us, with the exception of the very, very few that I had to flush out and they're gone. Remember, I flushed them down the sewage pipe, a couple of the trolls, a couple of the problem kids, a couple of the egomaniacs we got rid of, and we have a house full of quality drivers that share quality stuff, right? So we will conduct our own YouTuber survey. I will encourage the Dustins, the Geos, the Apptrepreneurs, the Dave, the Uber slaves, the Petersons, the Paulers, and all of those other wonderful people to participate and go out there and ask the same questions. Victor says, I'm in. Sorry to hear that, Texas adventure and reality, bad oil leak in my car. So there are certain things to stop oil leaks you may want to look in. You know, that's another great video. We should talk about products, you know. I'm a big fan of Lucas, of the Lucas brand. We should talk about products that, you know, that can increase gas mileage and repair a lot of the seals, the wear and tear in your engine. There are certain products out there. If you spend 10 on this, $8 on this, $12 on this, just to get a lot of extra miles, you know, from your car, keep it in good standing, good shape, and also reduce the gas mileage. So I just got a great idea from one of the individuals here. Let's talk. Let me just go out to AutoZone, Pet Boys, or O'Reilly's. These are the three that I'm at every single week, right? I buy a lot of car products, and I just bought 3 more cars yesterday. Beauties, which I'll share with you. Beauties, classics. And that's like my hobby. It's like a canvas, right? Just fix them up, enjoy them with my kids, sell them for a profit. But, you know, I certainly know a lot about car products, right? What it does for the engine, what it does for the transmission, what it does for the fuel consumption. So we should talk about that, you know. And again, I'm sure many people here know these products already. Also true, it depends on the oil leaks and where they're on. It's the same thing with a radiator. Sometimes if a radiator has a couple of small little holes, you know, you can get a radiator leak stop, like a liquid. They cost about $15, the good ones, right? But, you know, if your radiator has a massive hole in it, forget about it. You're not going to plug it, right? So you've got to spend the money on a radiator, guys. So exactly, if you're in for a massive oil leak and it's gushing a lot of oil, a lot of these liquids are not going to take care of that problem. Very good point. Forrest says the accessory and charges, even the Game Hub pad customer can play games and you can earn money from it. Cool. Also spoke to a great Chicago driver yesterday who said when he started up 6,000 trips ago, he's watching some of my original videos. He said he bought the eucalyptus oil. He's still, after 6,000 trips, still a 5-star driver. We'll want to be doing an interview with him. Really go-getter, awesome guy in the Chicago market. I'm excited to interview him. And these are people that reach out to me daily. And thank you to all the people that Thank you to all the people that send me articles, send me topics, right? Hey, maybe you could do a video on this, maybe, and I do. And a lot of that information that you share with me makes its way through into my channel, right? A lot of these news stories that I may miss here or there, I'm getting from the house, and I make videos on that and share that with you. So anything else you'd wish to report? Barry Smith says, I drive for Lyft in St. Louis, Montana. I had a rider damage my van door. Lyft acts like they don't know me now. Send me the pictures. Let's make a video. Let's remind them who you are and what damage their rider did to your car. Send me the pictures. I'm out of here, folks. 1 hour, 10 minutes strong. It's going to be a great day. I'm pumped up. I've had my second coffee. Thumbs up. And thank you again to Harry. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for allowing me to make a video. He invited me and said, Torsten, please make a video on this. There you have it. I hope I can contribute in whatever way. It just shows how we all work together and stick together. Thumbs up, everyone. Torsten, please recap survey and what we need to do, says Tim Olson. I'm going to put the link there, right? And you guys can go through the video. And what we're going to do is, and I'm going to come up with the topics and send those topics out to the other YouTubers so that we also conduct our own survey. So this survey speaks for itself. It stands on its own, right? It's powerful, very, very powerful, very, very detailed, as everything that Harry does. And Tim Olson, what we're going to do as YouTubers, a great suggestion from our house here is like, hey, let's get more data, right? Let all these YouTubers ask the same questions. Let's collect beyond that 1,000 and maybe also send that information over to Harry so we can package it up once again. Not saying that the percentages will change much, but maybe here or there will be a fluctuation of 1%, 2%, or 5% just by us contributing extra data. You were cleaning the rain gutters. That's a good idea because it's going to piss down rain here in Cali today, right? I'm supposed to have a meeting in Long Beach. Skies are gray. If it rains, I ain't going to go down. I don't usually get on the highways after months of no rain because it's just like a sliding show, right? Barry Smith in the house. Adam's family. It's like my comment didn't exist. We can't catch every person's comment, buddy. We try to incorporate everyone. I don't read everybody's comment. I just don't have the time for it or the energy. I try and include as much as I can. So don't take it wrong if your comment was left out. Maybe you want to repeat it quickly. Robin Reenath's in the house. Thank you. Again, also thank you to Robin for her many contributions. Good morning from Vegas. What was the question? Adam's family, 78. I want to include it. Hit me with your question. Hit me with your comment. I don't want you to feel out, buddy. Sounds like you're accusing me of not commenting on your comment. So hit me with your comment so I can share. Monchi 702. Trip is coming soon. Trip is still coming soon. Trip is coming soon. Just like Juno is coming soon. Juno is coming soon. Juno is coming soon. And then Juno pulled the plug. But Trip is still coming soon. OC in the house. Night Jackers. Okay, some good info here from Uber Gold Paula. Lyft doesn't care either. That's why I'm supporting that Lyft driver tomorrow at the Lyft hub, 11:30 a.m. Liverpool! Across the pond, I have an international guest, Alan Cassidy. Let's send our love to England, right? And England, what a pleasure as a South African playing you in the Rugby World Cup. You guys were legends. You beat the All Blacks. Love England. Love going over there. My younger sister lived there for many years. Love London. Love Liverpool. Love Norwich. I have a lot of good friends in England. So huge shout out to Liverpool here, Alan Cassidy, for coming in. You're probably 9 hours ahead, right, Alan? You're probably clocking almost 8:30, 9 o'clock, I guess. Ultra testosterone rideshare professor is too alpha for Dara. Yeah. I don't know if Dara wants to bang heads, or have breakfast, but I invite him. I have a lot of good questions and tough questions for my good friend Dara. And I would love Ultra Testosterone to join me. Hey, Dara, this is Ultra Testosterone. This is Rideshare Driver. We're going to have coffee today. We have pancakes. And we have a lot of questions to ask you. Are you ready? Creative J, biggest tip you've ever had. Mine was $125 for a ride less than 3 miles. My biggest tip that I got was from the NBA basketball player, Dwayne Wade, and I think it was $450 or $500 tip for driving his kids around for the day, plus the fares, of course. And then he had a request and said, hey, Torsten, can you still manage to fit me in and take me into a meeting down at the Peninsula Hotel in Beverly Hills after dropping off the kids? Yes, sir, gladly. Yeah, there's a lot of good stories out there. $20 trip, $100 tip. $10 trip, $20 tip. Because they recognize who you are. They recognize what value you bring to them. There's a lot of people are too quick to pull the trigger on criticism. You should also pull the trigger on praise. Thank you, or write a report. Restaurant manager was great. Food was great. Not all about the negatives. Don't always seek the negatives in life. Also comment on the positives, the praise. And praise by a ride or passenger can be paid in form of a very healthy tip, right? Praising my driver for driving 1.5 hours across the city, getting me to that plane in time, driving safe, and great conversation. And here is a healthy tip, right? Doesn't take much. Yeah, that was a beautiful tip. I didn't expect it. I was blown away. I can also tell you who is another great tipper, Kevin Garnett, when he's in town, right? Great tipper. Channing Tatum, great tipper. The Foo Fighters, excellent tippers, right? And then I'm talking private people. And many of these private individuals, believe it or not, you hear it live here, transitioned from Uber and said, we don't want to do Uber anymore. We just want you, right? So thank you, Uber. Thank you, Lyft, for many private clients that never will drive Uber and Lyft again. I have them now. I own them. I control them. I don't own them, but I control those trips. And you losing money there. Because you just can't offer consistency. Compton's in the house. Who's from Compton? Elias. There's my buddy Elias Acevedo. Great contributor. Huge. Much love. Send Elias's way. Everyone's way. Guys, it was wonderful. Let's a lot of thumbs up, a lot of hearts for Harry's Rideshare Guys survey. Let's show him tremendous love here, folks, for what he has done for the drivers. Let's send him a huge shout out. Let's show our appreciation. Thank you, Mark Roughton. Let's show him love. because he does care. It's by putting out these numbers, by putting out these surveys, he's changing things for the better, right? Uber and Lyft don't like these type of surveys that, drivers are not satisfied, safety is low, right? So what Harry's doing here is tremendous for the rideshare community, because he's shining a light. He's holding up the mirror to Dara. He's holding up the mirror to Logan. He's holding up the mirror to Uber. He's holding up the mirror to Lyft. Change. This is where people are unhappy. This is where you've gone down from 2018 to 2019. This is what he's got to show it. The mirror, he's holding it up. Oh, look who's in there. Auction Rebuilds. Whoop, whoop, whoop. How are you, my friend? Delete Uber. Good to see you. The original, one of my two mentors, Harry and Uberman. Good to have you here, buddy. Much love, brother, from the rideshare community. Truly a legend out there who set the platform, who set the stage for thousands and thousands of YouTubers, drivers, and then branched off and went literally, correct me if I'm wrong, but from 40,000, I think, to 180,000 subscribers. Do yourself a favor right now. If you see Auto Auction Rebuilds, go click on his link and subscribe to him. The original legend in the house. And I have nothing but love and gratitude for the gentleman, because he's been good to me. He's shared with me. He's been very open. He's been very honest. And he's been very, very, very generous with all his help. This is going way back, like, the pioneer days. Came in there with a wagon and the sled. That's Uberman time. And now he's in the field of cars, which I love so much. So send him much love, guys. What is he on now? I'd want to guess, I'm taking a wild guess, 180,000 subscribers, Randy? Oh. 2013, see? 190,000 subscribers, 10,000 more than I had guessed. Anyone here tries to remotely come close to that, be willing and put in the hours. 2006 hardcore years of building subscribers. You get to that, that sets the bar. That's where I need to go, to that level, right? So he started Uber Vlogs in 2013, as he shares with us. Just go subscribe to him, go right back to his original videos, see how he's changed, reinvented himself. Just look at the wealth of information this individual Randy brings to the community, right? We should have nothing but gratitude. My two mentors when I started, Harry and Randy and Harry. I could change them out. Same time, they've both been in the game. The pioneers of the rideshare community. A lot of my money, a lot of my wealth and ideas and businesses built today, I've got to go back there and say, thank you, Randy. Thank you, Harry, right? This is another extra income stream. I'm also in the field of natural cosmetics. I do detox products. I ship worldwide, do a lot through Amazon as well. But like my fleet of cars, my this, my that, all of these things that I've built out, I have to go back again and say, thank you, Randy. Thank you, Harry. So you guys are privileged to have a legend in the house. And it's wonderful to see the Dustins drop in every now and again, the Randy, Auto Auction Rebuilds, where you'll learn. You'll just learn a wealth of information, breaking it down car by car by car. Do yourself a favor, go over, subscribe and learn. I am going to wrap up right here. I'm very, very thankful that we're ending on this high note of having you here, buddy, and recognizing you here. And he says, rideshare will always be my first love, man. And that's how we're going to go out today, on that note, right? On that sentence, rideshare will always be my first love, right? So he's honoring that industry that catapulted him. I'm sure he, as I can say, it's earned a lot of extra dollars for our family, no matter which direction we branched off in. But our first love on YouTube, or whatever the case may be, we gotta say thank you to Rideshare, and we gotta actually say thank you to Travis. Some people hate him, some people don't, but I'm sure Randy will agree with me. Some form of gratitude also has to be given to Travis. Peace out, my friends. Hashtag Rideshare, hashtag drivers. That's so nice. That made my day. That really made my day for a legend to come in here, Randy Shear, and just mix it up with us, right? Please go over, subscribe. Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate every single person. Ubergo Paula, Sandy Man, Robert, and all others that have watched today. Thank you for your feedback. I wish you a beautiful Wednesday. I'm going to go and pick up my kids from school in a short while. Going to have fun with them. Go take them for a nice lunch. And I'll be back. Payman Ali, Vegas. Love you, my friend. And Mark Routen. Hashtag give Darrow the boot. I like that. Tim Olson, thank you for your great email the other day as well. And Randy, thank you for dropping in. And Harry, thank you for a great survey. Peace out, my friends.